Hello, Colorado Realtors. I'm Scott Peterson, and thank you for joining me for another edition of Legal Bites. To start today's episode, I'm going to start by announcing quite proudly that the Colorado Association of Realtors at the National Association of Realtor Fall Conference just a few weeks ago in Chicago won the Don't Risk It Video Awards for this Legal Bites series. We were very, very excited to take home that honor. There was a lot of really fantastic competition, and I think it's a nice reflection of some of the work that we're doing through this series. I want to specifically acknowledge my buddy in the booth here, Monica Panzer, who films and edits these videos, Eric Heacock, who puts together these great PowerPoint presentations for me, and Jonathan Griggs, who is our Director of IT and technology here and maintains the studio and really built this thing from the ground up and gave us a really nice platform to do these videos. So very nice honor. We were excited to have it. They just kind of pushed me up here and I get to blow hot air at you people. So all the credit goes to them, but it was a very nice recognition on a national level for what I think has developed into a pretty good web series with Legal Bites here. So I hope you're enjoying them as much as the recognition that we've gotten for producing them. So today on Legal Bites, we are going to be talking about, this is your 2018 forms update. And so I'm going to be talking, it's short and sweet, which is a good thing. We're in a forms moratorium, by the way. So once a form is touched, and when I talk about forms, I mean Real Estate Commission approved forms. Once that form has been modified, it is, with a couple of very minor exceptions, locked in for 3 years. So it won't be touched again for 3 years. So the only thing that was touched during the course of this last year that will be released on January 1st, 2018 is the seller's property disclosure. I can tell you that beginning next year, the Forms Committee will begin working on some modifications to the contract to buy and sell again. So as of January 2019, the contract to buy and sell and potentially a couple of other forms will be modified as well. But the good news is for this upcoming year, 2018, forms update is very, very short and sweet. The only thing that was addressed is the seller's property disclosure. And with that said, I will tell you there were some very, very extensive modifications. At least aesthetically, you'll find that the seller's property disclosure is going to look very different than it has for many years now. Primarily, I believe in some ways it's become a little bit more simplified disclosure. And the reason for that is that the blanks of, as you all know, it has always been yes, no, or I don't know, and then a small comment section. The blanks of no and I don't know have been removed entirely beginning January 1st of next year. And so they no longer exist. So now, as your sellers are preparing sellers' property disclosures, what they will do is only check boxes on issues that have yes is the applicable disclosure. If the answer is no or they don't know, then it would be left blank as opposed to anything else. So I think what we'll see is probably less, which is very bad, has always been very bad practice on behalf of sellers, sort of straight lines down the I don't know column or haphazardly filling them in. I think your sellers will now be forced to look at specific line items and then make an affirmative acknowledgement that, yes, they do have actual knowledge of a condition related to one of the items that they're disclosing. And if they don't know or don't have any actual knowledge, then it would just get left blank. And then there is a comment section as well where additional explanations can be made. So it looks a little bit more simple. And the good news is I do think it will encourage sellers to spend maybe a little bit more time and consider if they do have yes in the affirmative actual knowledge of a condition that is present with regard to any of the specific disclosures that are there. So that's the big change that's there. And again, if they don't have, if the answer is yes, if the answer is no or they don't know, then the appropriate completion for that is going to be to be left blank unless there's some caveat where they want to maybe include additional comments or something else, and the answer isn't actually yes. But there will be aesthetically some pretty significant changes. to that. The other practice point I want to make on seller's property disclosure is if you look in the contract and the contract to buy and sell under the seller's property disclosure section and delivery of that document, the way it describes it is that what is going to be delivered at contract is a seller's property disclosure in its current form. And so this is going to be an important point over the next month or so, or up to January 1, or I should say maybe through the end of this year, before January 1st. If you take on a new listing, and let's say on December 15th you take a new listing and your sellers fill in the current property disclosure, because that's the one that needs to be used all the way through the end of the year, is the current existing seller's property disclosure. So your seller fills that in, and then you maybe go under contract on January 5th on the listing. Your sellers are going to need to complete the new disclosure after January 1st. So hopefully that makes sense, and in order to remain compliant with the delivery of the seller's property disclosure in the contract, the seller's obligation is to deliver the current form. So as soon as January 1st rolls over, it'll be your obligation as a listing agent to make sure that your sellers are completing an additional seller's property disclosure in the current form, which will be the new form effective the 1st of this year. So that is a practice pointer, and you'll want to be thinking about that as we get to the end of the calendar year. The current sample of the form you can find if you go to the Colorado Division of Real Estate's website. So if you just go and Google Colorado Real Estate Commission forms, those words, Colorado Real Estate Commission forms, and you'll see the page will pop up, and it'll say 2018 replaced forms, and you'll be able to open that up and see a PDF. It's currently live and available there of the one that will be put into place beginning January 1st of next year. But again, not to be used until then, so continue to use through the end of the year the existing seller's property disclosure. Hopefully that is some good information for you. If you have additional questions, as always, you can call the Car Legal Hotline, 303-785-7171, and it's available from 9 to 12 and 1 to 4, Monday through Friday. Thanks so much for watching, and look forward to seeing you again on another edition of Legal Bites.